Hi, modern fashion designers. Welcome back to class. This is Modern Woman April. I want to say a very big thank you to all my returning subscribers. And if this is your first time here, you're highly welcome. Please join us by hitting on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so as to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. In today's class, we're going to be doing this beautiful shoulder pleated bubu dress with a round drawstring. Now, if this looks like what you're here to watch, kindly stay tuned to the end of this video. Meanwhile, for this class, I'm going to be making use of an organdy fabric and I'm using 3 yards for this. For us to start, we have to put our fabric into 4-fold. So this is not going to be having any shoulder joining. So all you need to do is just to make your fold. Now, here's how to go about it. Let's assume that we are using this paper here as the fabric. Now you fold the length into 2, and after folding the length, you also fold the width like this. Just follow through with what I am doing. So this is how to go about it. Now we are not going to be having any shoulder joining. That is why your shoulder also has to be on fold. You can see what I have here. Now for us to get started, we are firstly going to start by getting the neckline for both the front and the back. So for the neck width, I'm going to be making use of 4 inches. For the neck depth of the front, I'm also going to be making use of 4 inches here. So if you want the neckline to be lower, the neck depth depends on you. For a small size person, you can use 3.5 as the neck width and 4 inches as the neck depth. So for the neck depth of the back, I'm going to be making use of 2 inches. After that, we'll just go ahead and connect the neckline. So for the front here, we are using 4x4, and for the back, we're using 4x2. Now the next place we're going is on the shoulder. Now remember that this is a pleated shoulder, right? So first of all, I have to take my shoulder width divided by 2. So this is, I'm working with shoulder width of 16 divided by 2 is 8. We're having 3 pleats here, but it depends on how many pleats you want to make. So, and also the width of the pleats that you want to make. For this, I want to be having 2.5 inches pleat. So what we have on the thumbnail is 2 inches. So you can go ahead with the 2 inches, but I want mine to be a little bit wider. So I'm going to be making use of 2.5 inches pleat, which means, you know, the pleat will be folded this way, right? To get 2.5, which means one of it is going to be 5 inches. Then after folding, you have 2.5, right? So I'm going to be marking 5 here, which means when I fold it, it will be 2.5. So this is for the first pleat, another 5 for the second pleat, and another 5 for the third pleat. Do you understand? So guys, this is it. Now I'm going to be using what I have left here as the sleeve. You get? So I'm using what I have left here as the sleeve length. So let me mark 6 here. So this is 6 inches as the sleeve length and the hemming allowance. So I'm going to be also using part of the 6 inches to hem the sleeve. So for the sleeve opening, the circumference around these 6 inches, I'm having 14. That's the circumference of the sleeve where I have the length at 6 inches. So I'm having 14 there, and divided by 2 is 7. I'm going to be adding 4 inches to it, 1 for seam allowance and 3 inches for ease. So altogether will be 11 inches. So it depends on how free or fitted you want your sleeve to be. So this is 11 inches. So what I'm going to do now is from this sleeve length. So this is the sleeve length here. From this sleeve length, I'll just go in by 3 inches. So I'll go in by 3 inches from the sleeve length here, and I'm going to connect it all the way down. So I'm going to check what I have from the sleeve length to this part here. I'm having 26 inches, so I'm going to connect this 26 inches all the way to the hem. After marking out the 26 inches from the sleeve opening to the hem, I'll connect the lines, and the next thing to do will be to cover the armhole to avoid sharp edge. And the next thing to do before cutting will be to add ½ inch to the neckline. So we're adding ½ inch to the front neckline and ½ inch to the back neckline. And once we are done with that, we'll start cutting. Note that we are cutting the back neckline first, Meanwhile, for this dress, I'm using 53 inches for the length. So 1 inch out of the 53 inches will be for the hemming allowance. So after cutting out the back neckline, the next thing to do be to cut out the sides. After that, we are going to be separating the front part and the back part in order for us to cut out the front neckline. So go ahead and separate the length. So keep the length of the front one side and the length of the back one side, and you're just going to make the width, which is the sleeve side. So you're bringing the sleeve side together. And once that is done, go ahead and cut out the front neckline as you see me do. The next thing we are going to be doing now will be to slit the center front from the neckline to the hemline. We are going to be slitting it open, but if you do not want yours to have that little slit on the neckline, you can leave it folded. You can leave the front part as it is without having this slit, so long it can pass through your neck. Do you understand? So long the neckline is wide enough to pass through your neck, you can just leave it that way. But we are slitting this because it can serve as kimono. You can just decide that after slitting you want it to be like kimono, the whole front open. You can just decide that okay, the same way it is on the thumbnail, with just a little slit at the neckline, like 4 or 5 inches slit below the neckline. Want it to be so. That is why we are slitting it open. But if you want the whole of the front covered, please do not slit. Just go ahead and turn the neckline with your bias tip. And one of the things I should have mentioned earlier is while your fabric is on fold, please go ahead and iron it. Do you understand? So that all the crease lines will be visible. You can see the shoulder crease line, and when you iron, the front and back crease line will be visible, so that you know exactly what you're working with, and it also makes your fabric to be smooth and well relaxed. We are done cutting. The next thing is to start sewing. So we are going to start by making the pleats. Remember that for the pleats we did 5 inches, right, each on each of the pleats, which means when folded we are going to be having 2.5, right? So this is the shoulder here. The line of the shoulder is still there. Can you see? So this is the shoulder and these are the pleats. Now what we are going to do is we're not starting here to pleats. No, we're not starting from the shoulder to pleats, as this pleat will be falling out of the shoulder. We want this pleat to start before the end of the shoulder. So we are going to come into the shoulder before we can start making our pleats. Now how do we do that? This is the shoulder line, right? So we'll come in by 2 inches into the shoulder, and from here we are going to take our 5 inches, the width of the pleat. Do you understand? So let's go ahead and clean this initial pleat lines. So this is our shoulder. We went into the shoulder by 2 inches, and from that 2 inches we are going to now take the length, the width of the pleat, which is 5 inches. Do you understand? And after this we'll give another space of 1 inch here. 1 inch is going to come in between the two pleats. Then we'll take another 5 inches, and after this 5 inches we'll also give another space of 1 inch, and after that we'll take another 5. You can see that the 1 inch we have here, the 1 inch here we have here and here will make up for that 2 inches that we stepped in. Do you understand? For us to start marking out the pleat lines, we have to take the measurement we have from the center front to the first choke, and we have 6. Remember we had 8 before we stepped into the 8 by 2 inches. Do you understand? So we have 6 from the center front to the first choke. So we are going to be marking that 6 from the center front and the center back. We are going to be imputing that 6. So we are going to be ruling this line down to where we want the pleat to stop. So I'm going to be stopping at 15 inches. After ruling out the first line, the next thing is to rule out the second line on the shoulder. You know, the 5 inches for the pleat. So this is the 5 inches for the pleat. And remember, after the pleat, we have 1 inch space, right? So the next thing to do is to also rule out the 5 inches space. Remember that the new lines we are making are already on the shoulder. We are just taking them straight to where we want the pleat to end. Do you understand? So after this 1 inch, we'll go over to the last 5 inch for the third pleat. So this is exactly what we are doing. And after we are done drawing out these lines on this first part, we are going to turn this fabric and also make the mark visible on the other side. Let's assume that we have done this on the left hand side. We are going to turn the fabric to the right hand side and make the markings visible. And because we are using an organza fabric which is somehow transparent, you can see that the chalk marks are already showing from the other side. So all I'm just doing is to highlight the chalk marks that are already showing from the side. So if you're using a fabric that is thick, go ahead and retake the measurements again. Do you understand? And now that we are done making the markings, the next thing to do is for us to pleat. So the first thing for us to do is to pick up the pleat allowance, which is the 5 inches. We are going to fold it into two. From this chalk mark to this chalk mark, before the 1 inch interval. So you're going to pick it up. You can decide to pin it down. So once you have picked it up this way, you're going to take it to your ironing table and you will iron. So you will iron here. After you're done with this very one, you will take point two. So after the 1 inch interval, the next 5 inch, the next 5 inches point, you're going to bring it together again. You pin and you iron. So I'm going to do that for all of this and show you what we have. So guys, I'm done ironing and this is what I have. So you can see now it is time for us to start making the pleats. All you need to do is from here, this is the 2.5 inches. Can you see the mark is still there? Just run a stitch. Do you understand? Now, please take note that while running a stitch, we're not going to be stopping all the pleats at the same 15 inches. No. Say the pleat closest to the neckline, that's the first pleat closest to the neckline, you're going to stop it at that 15 inches. Now the second pleat, which is in the middle, I'm going to be removing 3 inches from the 15 inches and I'll have 12 inches. So that one will stop at 12 inches. Now the third one, which is the one closest to the sleeve, I'm going to be stopping it at 9 inches. Do you understand? So that is how to go about it. Do not stop all at the same length, else the upper part of this dress will be tight for you to wear. So we are using those other remaining pleat allowance as is for this upper part. If on the process you notice that the line has cleaned, from here just go in by 2.5 inches and roll the line again. And from here, so you just stitch. From here again, you pick up this one and stitch. Do you understand? So if you also do not want to go through the process of ironing this first, all you need to do is after making those lines, after making this line and this line, just pick it up. Make sure you are lining very well for the lines to match. Pin it then and run a stitch, and after that you can go ahead and iron the pleats. Do you understand? So I'll go to my sewing machine now, make all the stitches, and I'll be right back. So guys, after sewing the pleats, you can see what I have here. So right now what we are going to do is to tidy the neckline. So this is the neckline here. I've already gone ahead to weave the neckline and the center front. Now all you have to do is either to just fold in 1/2 inch and stitch around the neckline, or you can use bias. For me, I'm going to use bias to tidy the neckline, and after that what I will do is to fold in 1/2 inch here. You understand? I'll fold in 1/2 inch and stitch all the way to the hem. So guys, after tidying up the neckline and the center front, the next thing you're going to do is to hem the sleeve. So I folded half inch twice. So I hemmed the sleeve and also joined the side. So this is the side. After joining the sides, you go ahead and hem the down part. So I'm going ahead now to hem the down part, and I'll come back and show you how to do the circular drawstring. So guys, after hemming the lower part, the next thing we are going to do is to make the circular drawstring. So this is what you have to do. See, this is the side, right? This is the side joining, the lower part. This is the hemline that we have already sewn. So on the lower part, all you need to do is to merge it this way. Bring the front and back together this way. Remember, this is the center front, this is the lower part. So what I'll do now is to go up from here by, from the hemline, I'll go up by 17 inches. So I'll go up by 17 inches from the hemline, and from here, from this hem, remember I'm taking my measurement from the side joining. So from this side joining, I'll go in here by 1.5. Now this depends on how circled you want this to be. If you want the circle to be so wide, all you need to do is to extend this to like 3 inches. Do you understand? So what I'm going to do now is, from this mark of 1.5, I'm going to connect to the 17 inches. So go ahead and connect from the 17 inches to the 1.5 inches mark. Now while connecting, when you get to that point of 17 inches, all you need to do is to make it curvy. Do not make it sharp. Do you understand? You have to curve that part. After that, go ahead and cut out. So take it to the weaving machine and weave it round. And after that, you hem with 1 inch. That's exactly what I have here. Can you see? And the next thing is to make your rope, your string, and pass it into the channel. So guys, this is the concluding part, and the funny thing about this part is that I've already worn this dress to an event before I got the chance to make this very part. So this is the circular drawstring. You can see it looking so beautiful on both sides. Now if you notice, the waist is already shrink. The waist of this dress is already shrink because my belt has already shrinked it. No vest. I was in a hurry, so I just had to wear it to the event before coming back to conclude the tutorial. So for the center here, I decided to close up all parts. Now the one we have on the thumbnail, all parts was closed except for about 5 inches before the neckline. Do you understand? So 5 inches before the neckline. Now if you decide to close yours this way, there's really no point opening it up at the initial stage. Do you get? Except you want to leave that 5 inches or 4 inches below the neckline, or you want to leave yours as kimono. So me, I ended up closing every part because I felt when I wore it, it was better that way. Do you get? So this is it, and thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe if not done so. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Modern Woman. Bye for now.